Coming to you live from Greensboro, North Carolina. It's the Scenic View Podcast. And I guess it's not really live by the time you listen to this, but we are at the Curry Convention Center. It may sound a little different, but we are here for this 41st Annual Scenic Convention. I'm here with the usual crowd, Suzanne Beasley, Government Relations Director, Artis Watkins, Executive Director, Sam Klein, the esteemed podcast producer, and myself, Jonathan Owens, the Director of Communications. We don't have a lot of time. We got to get back to work, but we ducked in this little makeshift studio. Let's get down to business. So we'll just have a short little discussion about what's going on at the convention. I guess the top headline was right at the start. Governor Josh Stein did join us. He had a pretty fiery speech compared to what he did last year. Because he was a candidate last year. He was actually attorney general when he spoke to us. But I enjoyed his speech. What did you guys think about it?
Yeah, happy he could be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he called on the legislature to pass a budget. And obviously this entire crowd is sitting there without a pay raise and their health care's gone up. Yeah. Right. It would have been wonderful if he had mentioned retirees. Yeah. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we heard that from a few people here. Other than that, we had the state health plan came by for a presentation about the new Lantern program. We had an awesome training yesterday from our membership staff, and today has been mostly work, mostly business.
We've heard Secretary Buffalo.
Yeah, we had a visit from the DPS secretary.
Yeah, we got a whole slate of VIP visitors this afternoon. So it was a busy day.
And we had one more yesterday, one of my favorites, Office of State Human Resources Director Stacy Meyer, who is working so hard to modernize the entire state employment system. And the crowd really wanted to hear from her because they want those jobs filled. They don't want to go through the amount of red tape they've got to go through now, but they want to know it's done responsibly and looking out for the rights of state employees, and Stacey Meyer's the woman for that job.
She's doing it.
I noticed I'm not saying our delegation in years past has been, fumbling with their papers or not paying attention, but they were very focused this year, it seemed like, on that speech and the governor's speech, and pretty much the whole time.
I noticed that at the legislature. We're in committee meetings or even on the floor when there's discussion and papers are being rustled and maybe even a little conversation in the background going on. But when they get silent, they're paying attention. So, for the whole convention. And you guys, I think we've got about 700 people here. This year. So for the whole convention to be silent for a presentation, they were focused and appreciated the information.
And we have the retirement system coming today as well.
We do.
Lots of fun ahead. I guess we're about halfway point right now. I guess this would be the halfway point. Friday at lunch, and then we got this afternoon and Saturday. So a lot of fun ahead. What are you guys hearing from the members out?
The state health plan presentation yesterday, which you guys have heard Thomas Friedman, the executive director of the plan, before on the podcast. He's a volcano of information, and he brought it yesterday too. But he also brought the representative from Lantern, which is that new program we've told you guys about that the plan is going to utilize to help with the cost of health care. And I had a lot of people that were asking questions, because it sounded, like something good. So we're hopeful that, moving forward, we'll realize some savings within the plan and help people's pocketbooks.
I kind of feel like that program may be something you got to see or use to understand, I think it'll take some experience with it.
I do sit on the floor kind of directly in front of people, so I can hear some of the whispers and chitter-chatter right behind me. And I do still hear a little bit of concern/reservations about Lantern Project and what is moving forward with that. But
I think anything new is always tough. But the other thing I've heard a lot about is questions, tons of questions. The $170 million that we talked about last week that the treasurer staff discovered. Okay, so everyone's asking me the questions that we were talking about last week. What are they going to do with that? We need them to use it. Give state employees something. Give retirees something. Put it to the health plan, so you can not have premium increases so high. And I'm trying to explain they can't do that. But we have looked into that $170 million more since last week. And I just wasn't real positive over how it was found. Well, it was never lost. It was always there. But it was interest bearing. It wasn't squandered.
Mhm.
That money was bearing interest.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it was. I think the headlines are really a little misleading on that. And the reporting is misleading and confusing. And so, again, I said it last week, and now I double down on it. I sure hope journalists will ask a lot more questions
Certainly.
about that.
When I first saw that story, I started to feel a little concerned about, I guess, thinking about what Thomas Freeman thought about that announcement. Like, was he involved in that announcement? Because he would be like, you made this announcement like a week after we voted to
after the health plan, yeah.
I think he maybe had a little consternation about that. But
well, I mean, anytime money like that is found, the opportunity to use it, you have to ask.
Yeah.
But that money is specifically earmarked, I guess you would say. It's for specific projects within
it's
the department.
It sounds like the General Assembly's like, we need that money. So,
I know.
Well, yeah.
That's what's happened.
That's what I was saying last week. They'll find some way to launder that money.
You have to stop saying launder, because that is, in fact, a different thing and illegal. This is just, the General Assembly they're going to go to any pot of money that's around and say, give it.
That's right.
Because I don't even know, even then, if they'll get to a budget. However, yeah, we'd like that. We would, like everyone else, like that money spent on
Absolutely.
health plan.
It just sounds like a big bully who's coming to take your lunch money instead of letting it
That's
go
politics,
towards
baby.
the state health plan. It just sounds like a bully who's walking over and is like, that money?
Yeah, and
give it to me.
To be clear, though, we don't know that money was for the state health plan.
No. We're just saying it's going to be used for something. And so, no matter what you're using it for, look, the people here are seeing so many of them compared to just our board, which is quite large, but seeing hundreds and hundreds of people, especially retirees, they're tore out of their frame mad.
Mm-hmm. Well,
with good reason.
Yeah. Building on that, I mean, we do have a lot of retirees, and the number one thing we're hearing, obviously, is they're not getting a COLA for another year for, I guess it's been, 10 years or so since.
A long time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of frustration we're all sensing that. So.
Yeah, I mean, they were led to believe it was going to be a lot different, and the system was actually set up to be a lot different. Mm-hmm. The system was set up to provide COLAs. And it was going to provide those from the undistributed gains, basically the interest you make off of investments. And for so many reasons, that didn't happen. But I want to repeat, I can't repeat it enough times on this podcast, there were times the legislature put in nothing or next to nothing in terms of a contribution. So even though the legislature's putting in a good contribution now, as anyone knows with investments, you can't neglect it and not think that compounds the same way money you put in compounds.
Right.
We're going to cut to a short interview with SEANC President Kurt Montgomery about the convention, and we'll be right back to talk a little more about what's going on. Okay, I'm here with Kurt Montgomery, the SEANC President. I have ambushed him and taken him from his lunch just for a second. Just wanted to get a little interview on your thoughts about the convention so far. How's it going?
Well, I think the convention's been going very well. A lot of people don't understand the work that we have to put in at this convention, dealing with our bylaws, going through the process of, doing elections and things of that nature. But overall, this has been a very good convention. We still have a lot of work ahead of us. We had Governor Stein come in, which was a great asset to us for him to speak to our delegation and so forth. And so it's been great.
A lot of enthusiasm for Stein. It seemed like they brought the house. Was that a hard act to follow, or?
It was because, I wanted to bring him in. Normally, it's the president that opens up the convention. But, we were able to get him to come in and open it up for us. And I was very thankful for that.
Good surprise there. And everyone's noticed you on the little cart this week. You've had an accident at work, and you're a little hobbled, but you're getting through it, right?
I am, yeah. I tore my tendon from my patella, and so I got a little bit of rehabilitation that I'm gonna have to go through. But overall, it's been good. I'm glad that I was able to come here and do my duties here, and serve the state employees.
Awesome. Now, this is, I guess, marks kind of the end of your presidency. Are you going to be sad when it's over?
In a way, yes. But in a way, it's also a sign of relief, because a lot of people do not understand the responsibilities of the president.
Yeah.
And it's very, I wouldn't say hard job, but it's very time consuming. Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of things that you have to approach and work with the staff with the executive committee, with the board of governors to ensure that we stay on point with what we're doing with the legislation.
Yeah.
I do want to give kudos back to the staff because I have learned so much being the president and understanding what staff has to do to keep this organization running.
Yeah. And you had a good board with you, sticking through the years.
Yep, I did. There were a lot of headaches that we had, or challenges, I should say, not headaches,
Yeah.
just challenges. We did the IT upgrade. We had some issues with our building that we're working through. Then we also had the big issue with the Hurricane Helene.
Yeah.
But Scenic stood steadfast, and we worked together. We got supplies to them, and that was a great situation for us to be able to support Scenic members in the West as well as other people.
So not to say that it's been dead the last few years. I mean, every convention is different, but it seems like this year there's a lot of enthusiasm. I think maybe a lot of the business that we're doing is bringing that on, but it seems like people are very engaged this year.
And they are. I mean, because well, I don't know if I need to say everything that's happening right now, but we have some big ticket items that we're trying to address to ensure that that Scenic stays viable in the future.
And the elections always bring up a lot of. Luckily, you don't have to do that this year, right?
I do not. So I will still be on the board. I will still be in the executive committee. I'll be the immediate past president.
Yeah.
And I will be here to help the new president when they come in, and also always support Scenic.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, and let you get back to lunch.
All right. Thank you.
And congratulations, Sam, for your knees holding out to this point. Sam crawls all over the floor in front of the stage to take all these pictures, and look, I couldn't do it for 10 minutes.
She's fascinating to watch because she runs from one location to the other. She has knee pads, y'all. Yeah. So she hits the floor and slides.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Good job, Sam.
It's been a lot of fun. I've also gotten a lot of members who will look at me and they're like, "You're sprinting everywhere."
Yes.
And I'm like, "I gotta go. I gotta move."
So she told me last night at dinner, we went to dinner with Baloo, our IT director, and a few other, Tiana was there from the insurance department.
Well, Suzanne and I were not invited.
Yeah,
go ahead, do tell.
Baloo set this up. I'm throwing him under the bus.
Sorry.
Well, we know who it is.
But she told me last night, what was it? That you hurt your hip or something?
Yeah, I did have one slide where I slid so far past that I ended up leaning back and slamming my hip onto the floor.
I think somebody caught that on video, didn't they?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably Allie. Allie's
I think
been.
your friend caught that on video.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to get that.
Yeah.
Blooper reel.
Yeah, that's got to go in the blooper reel.
Yeah, she was saying we need to have a whole video of just me sliding and crawling across.
Oh, she got that one on the.
I think
goodness.
so. I think so.
Sam Cam.
I was struck by how many media members came for the governor's speech yesterday.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting them to put a release out or anything. The governor comes basically every year.
That was fun, though.
Yeah.
So, but that was awesome. We got some pub out of it. So
our bylaws chair, Kim Martin, was in a picture used by one of those media outlets. So that's awesome when our dedicated members.
And our big turtle logo behind it.
Yes.
So
it looks awesome,
it really
especially in photos.
Yeah.
Because it brightens up the background. Every now and then we've had some darker themed.
And you'll hear
color.
from President Montgomery, who picked that theme as part of one of your.
Yeah,
the theme was, John.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Oh, the theme was strength and unity, and I guess Ohana is kind of the theme. Yeah. So, Sam, you're a big Hawaii person.
Yeah.
/ Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
What does Ohana mean?
I have an Ohana tattoo. So Ohana at its most simple form when you're talking about Lilo and Stitch is Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. But when you're actually talking about the culture of Hawaii, Ohana is not just family that is blood. It's family that you've created. It's the culture that you've created. And it's really the support that you surround yourself with. So I feel like that's a great representation of our membership and our family.
Yeah, I think there's
perfect.
Definitely a sentiment of family amongst our members. I don't want it to exclude people who aren't part of that family, though. We want even more members.
Yeah, we want to grow the family.
It includes our podcast
family.
family. It includes our
inclusive. So we need more and more Scenic members to join and be part of the convention. One thing I will say before we wrap up, the photojournalist from, I think it was the News and Record here in Greensboro came, and he saw the logo, and I was like helping him with the lights, lighting and things. And he was like, "What is this organization? Like, is it like a marine thing or like what? Marine biologist or something?" I was like, "No, it's the State Employees Association of North Carolina." I was like, "Don't ask."
But we do have marine biologists who are state employees.
People love that logo, though. They're asking, some of them have asked President Montgomery if we have T-shirts with it on.
We should have made some merch.
Yeah,
we should start doing that yearly for the themes.
That'd be cool.
It's a good idea.
Theme, get a themed T-shirt.
It's a good idea.
Put that on the list. We have a huge list coming out of the convention every year. Well, I think that was a good episode for us to just highlight some of the things going on at convention, and we'll see you next week for a regular episode.